Oh yeah, it's time once again for YouTube's highest rated new episodic sports talk show. It is the next show with your boy Deli Del, Heavy D, D Midas, Delicio Jones, all the above. So, on this episode, things of nature to discuss are going to include. I know I'm a bit late on this, guys. Bear with me. I've been out of town for a couple days, but I'm back. And one of the things I want to talk about was that Game 7 between mine and your Philadelphia Flyers, who, in my opinion, laid one of the biggest eggs in the club history over the last 10, 15 years or so, in my opinion. Down 4-0 in the Game 7 final there, second round. In my opinion, just, to be shut out in the Game 7, second round, just not acceptable. So I'm not trying to hear, as Tortorella said, as Tortorella said in his exit interview press conference, I don't have time for the touchy-feely stuff, moral victory. Nah, man. You got shut out in Game 7. Oscar Lindbaum, I'm glad he came back. I'm happy for him that he beat cancer, but, you got shut out in Game 7 in the second round ultimately. So, I don't have time for the sob stories. Should have got it done. It's not like the Islanders are exactly a powerhouse, as Tampa Bay would later prove to show. So, yeah, I don't know. I just, I guess I want to talk about, you already heard my thoughts on the series, basically, on Game 7. You can read between the lines of what I'm saying, but I'm just flat out saying that they stunk. But I guess, a bit of reflecting as to what I think should be happening going forward with the club in order to make them successful. And Raptors-Celtics, Game 5. More refereeing shenanigans. I'll get into that, as well as a bit about what's happening with the Blue Jays. I'm very happy for them. They're one of the few things in sports that are cheering me up right now. And the AEW All Out pay-per-view that just happened. I don't know if it was this past Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure, but just going to go over, what I thought of it overall, and how sort of the storyline should be revolving going forward, and talk about that incident that happened to Matt Hardy that ended up putting him in the hospital once again. So shout out to Matt Hardy, by the way. He's just a true competitor. Got mad respect for him. Yeah, all that and more. So yeah, keep it locked, guys. I'm about to get right into it. First and foremost, Philly and the Islanders. You can say that the better team won, but I think it was the more prepared team won, in my opinion, is what I believe happened. I don't know what it is, but Philly's top guys, they just never really showed up. They never really showed up all series. They never really showed up all playoffs. So, if I want to, I can skip right to the reflection because, there's nothing that I can say that hasn't already been said by people who cheer on hockey teams that have lost by a shutout in a Game 7 in the second round. So I'm not going to regurgitate anything that's already been said. Now, as far as the reflection portion is concerned, and what I think needs to happen going forward, I believe that the Giroux, Jake, Gossesbear, JBR experiment, I believe, has run its course. I think, in all honesty, those guys need to be shipped out. And whatever you could get for them with the contracts that they have, that'd be great. I don't know what you can get in this kind of market now because everybody's taking a financial hit with not having fans in attendance and concessions, yada, yada. So I don't know what you're going to be able to do in that regard. But, some of these guys have to go. Some of these guys that didn't exhibit the competitive drive and willingness to compete need to go. The guys that are just sort of flying by, getting their paycheck. Those guys need to be traded out of town. So that's all I'm really gonna say about that. I mean, it's not something that I care to talk about. It's not something really fans care to talk about. Is a Game 7 shutout loss in the second round. I'm just gutted and disappointed, and hope that they can do better next year and get rid of those guys that aren't willing to compete and go above and beyond the Call of Duty. Next, Raptors-Celtics. I mean, can we stop it, please? Can we stop? Can we stop with this horrible refereeing? I mean, really. And this is like echoing a sentiment of a lot of Raptor fans and a lot of Canadian basketball fans. Can we stop with this referee? Because now it's making these games unwatchable with the Raptors. And I said this on the last show. Like, you can have the best setup game plan and some of the most top flight players out there, but it's not going to do anything for you if the referees are trying to screw you every game. Like, come on, man. Like, it's just getting to be comical now. Really, it's just starting to become unwatchable, man. And like, as a serious Raps fan, that covers and follows the team, I just think I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like the refs' own like internal hatred for the only Canadian team, or what, or like if they're being told by Silver to do this, that, and the other. But it's just gotta stop, guys. Come on now. I still believe that despite being down 3-2, I mean, now you're gonna have to go 7 games. Can't be 6 games now. But again, with the refs doing what they're doing, you just kind of hope that with a lot of other people talking about it, and it sort of gets into the bubble through social media and everything, and that people see it, and that hopefully it gets to them, and they're able to call things fairly for once. So that would be very nice. So Raps are down 3-2 in the series, but I still think they can come back. Again, they have the roster, they have the championship pedigree, and I don't want to hear none of this talk of Kawhi this, Kawhi that. We'll see how much of a difference maker he is once, if and when they get to the finals this year. So if he is that all-world player that everybody thinks Toronto needs, then we'll see. We'll see how things go for him. It's looking pretty good so far, but this is 2020, and anything can happen, and probably will happen. So moving on, the Blue Jays. How about them Blue Jays? This is actually a team that has given me something to cheer about and be happy about. So I'm kind of glad we're moving on to them right now after having to talk about all of the tragedy and foolishness that I had to speak on previously. This is great. Blue Jays. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so happy for them. Because you know why? Because even guys like me on this show and in the forums and chats, I was calling them mediocre to begin with, and I still feel that way about their pitching. Don't get it twisted, but I think the little like subtle moves that they made at the deadline. They weren't the sexy big name trades, but I think those little acquisitions ended up in big game wins. So those minor deals have played a major role into the team's overall success. So good on them for doing what they've done. Again, pitching wins championships, and the Blue Jays, starting staff is not the greatest, and neither is their bullpen, in my opinion. They sort of do it by committee, like I think they've been doing in the last 5 or so years. They didn't really have a bona fide closer. They thought they did. They signed some guys to be closers full time, and they thought they were going to carry the load. But they've always, in the end, had to do it by committee, and this is what it looks like it's happening now. But if they can just continue piling up the wins and maintaining a playoff position in a shortened season with the extra playoff spot, I think they could be riding high and taking some momentum all the way, maybe win a round, maybe two. Who knows? I think it'd be great for them. So I'm rooting for the Jays. I'm hoping that they can get into the playoffs and do some damage. And yeah, give me something to cheer for with the other gloominess that's happening with my other teams. Oh boy, yeah. Speaking of gloominess, Matt Hardy at the All Out pay-per-view versus Sammy Guevara. Now, I don't know why I feel so passionate about this, but I just think maybe it's because like Matt Hardy is like one of the good guys in wrestling. You know, a guy that has said on the mic and out of the ring, you know, publicly in interviews that he wants to be like a mentor to the young guys, but at the same time he wants to compete and he wants to compete for championships, and he's very well capable of doing that. And I thought that him with the angle of like, you know, switching characters and stuff and Damascus, I thought that stuff was actually pretty great and pretty like fresh. We had never really seen something like that for a while with the, you know, different personalities and stuff like that, and changing halfway through matches and stuff like that. I thought that stuff was so cool. So I thought, you know, that he was gonna get like, you know, more time and a bigger shot. And then they tried to uh, wrap him in this like feud with Sammy Guevara, and it was like then Bud gets suspended because of like the comments he said about Sasha Banks, and it's like, man, like you are saying probably what like most men are thinking, but you know what the difference is? Most men haven't and wouldn't say stuff like that on a national talk show, radio show. Like, are you for real, man? Wow, homie. Yo, te voy a decir en español. Tú fallaste, hijo de puta. Wow, man. Wow. So, like, that happens, and then so AEW suspends him. And then he comes back, and then, you know, he does a bit with Matt Hardy because, you know, I guess the feud was supposed to continue. And then he does this like chair shot botch, which ends up having Matt Hardy to go to the hospital and get stitches on his head and a concussion. So okay, you know, he was still a good guy about it. Okay, we can carry on with this. So I guess he carries on with this until the All Out pay per view. So All Out pay per view comes now recently. And now, you know, they're doing a bit where, you know, they're just like jostling for position on top of a skyjack, and there's like a set up promotional AEW table just conveniently placed right underneath the skyjack. So, you know, both guys are on top of the skyjack. I would say about maybe like, I don't know, like maybe 10 to 15 feet in the air or so, something like that. Maybe closer to 10 to 15, but something like that, if you could imagine. So they're on the skyjack, they're jostling for position, and then Sammy tries to hit this like weird spear when he could have just punched him or something off, and you know, Matt could have controlled his own fall and go through the table or something like that. I don't know. Instead, he tries to go for this like weird spear, and Matt tries to like carry it through to sell it onto the table, and they completely miss the table. Well, Matt completely misses the table anyway. I guess he he caught the bottom half of his body, caught the table, but the top half not so much. And like, you know, homie's head smacked right off the concrete. They didn't have no like mats or anything like that because he wanted to keep it, you know, authentic. But you know, this guy fell off of a at least 10-foot skyjack on his head onto the concrete, man. Taking a spear from a guy who's like being reckless and not thinking properly. I don't know, man. But so yeah, I guess like they ruled he had a concussion. Obviously, if you watch the tape, but he came back out and finished the match. And then he went to the hospital after, yet again. So we're talking about two hospital trips here in the last what, month and a half, 2 months, give or take, or so. No, man. You know what? A guy like Matt Hardy, who's so well respected in the industry, and a nice guy, one of the nice guys in the biz, he doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve that kind of treatment And quite frankly, he doesn't deserve that kind of booking. All right? So, Tony, Chris, Cody, if you're watching this, he doesn't deserve that kind of booking. That's bullshit. Okay? I'm going to call it right now. I'm sorry. But that's bullshit. Okay? You know, you're going to let. Okay, I'm going to get into that in a sec. But, you know, you're letting these other guys that aren't really catching heat right now have title shots and title reigns and this and that, and you guys are just leaving a guy like Matt Hardy in the dark. Nah, man, no, he don't deserve that. He don't deserve that. He needs a shot at the TNT Championship or the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. That's what he needs. So you guys need to somehow throw him in the mix. Like, forget this Sammy Guevara thing. You know what? As a matter of fact, while I'm at it, forget the Sammy Guevara thing and just release the guy. Because he's not showing, he doesn't seem like he's showing any remorse. You already had to deal with him and suspend him once. And this is his second botch in almost 2 months. So, yeah, you know, in my humble, honest opinion, as a wrestling observer for the last 20 years or so, he needs to be released. That's it. So I'm petitioning for that right now. I don't know what the haters are gonna say out there from you know, their parents' basement, but I'm telling you right now, Sammy Guevara needs to be released from AEW. He's not worth it. He's got no heat on him right now. Dom Mysterio, for Christ's sake, Dom Mysterio is getting more heat than Sammy Guevara right now. Like he's getting a nice bump and over with Seth Rollins. Like, look at that. Like, Dom is all of a sudden in the picture with his dad, just, you know, by ringside, and now this guy is straight up in matches against Seth Rollins, putting in work. And then I saw that crazy like ring flip that he did, that ring flip sweep and powerbomb the guy through the table, leaning up against the announcer's table. Wow, that's some nice athletic stuff right there. That was cool. And he's doing it like safely, and he's making sure. So good on him. Shout out to Dom Mysterio. But as far as Sammy Guevara is concerned, you know, pack your bags, bud, and look for another organization. Maybe you can go to Impact or go back to Impact. I don't know. These guys like they play musical chairs with the different organizations. So I'm not sure who's where doing what. But all I know is that what I am sure of is Sammy Guevara's got to go, and you know, thoughts and prayers out to Matt Hardy. Like if he keeps taking botches like that, especially to the head, man, you know, wreck the guy's freaking career, man. Who knows how long he's gonna be able to do like his livelihood and his lifelong dream to continue to pursue it like that. You know, what's next? You gonna put this guy in a fucking wheelchair next? No, man, no. Guys, Cody, Chris, Tony, if you're listening, don't wait for that to happen. Just cut ties now while you can. Make yourselves look good, and just worry about giving MJF a nice long title reign in the near future, please. That moves on to the next thing I want to talk about at the All Out pay-per-view. The only other thing that really mattered to me, as far as highlights and everything were concerned, was Moxley retaining the title. I mean, man, that's a for me as far as I'm concerned, guys. No, not good. Y'all needed to just like keep it with MJF, let it switch, and let him have a nice title reign, and just try and let Mox get it back, but also have a few other guys try to step in and prevent him from getting his title back and all this, and sort of work that in there. MJF tries to kind of like hire like heels and maybe a couple faces to like try and take down Mox or whatever, to stand in his way, preventing him from getting the title back right away, making him have to do all these jump through hurdles and stuff to try and get the title back, kind of thing. But no, they just let Moxley retain, and now we all have to suffer through some more promos of him looking like he's having a extreme shit on the toilet, sounding like it. So we'll see how that goes in the future. But yeah, I definitely, in the end, what I'm trying to say is I was not impressed. with Mox retaining, I think MJF should have had the title. Now this is and then Mox puts the first loss in a singles match in MJF's record. Is the other insult to injury. So that one defeat will come at the hands of Mox, the guy that, he had fought so hard to try to take out and thought he would take out and thought he should have taken out for the industry or for the promotion as a whole. So we'll see. Maybe it's leading to something bigger between the two guys, I hope. And then hopefully MJF ends up getting the title. But yeah, guys, that's all the things I wanted to touch on today. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned next time. Like, share, and subscribe as always. And big shout out that I usually give at the end of the show to my wifey Boo Kirsten. The show would not be possible without you. Thank you so much. And my baby girl Sophia, the apple of my eye, mi amor. Daddy loves you so much. I hope you're watching this. And stay tuned, guys, for the next episode of the next show.